Pompey. Sorry, I'm driving. I don't know when else I would have time to do this. And so the video is about do's and don'ts about buying a horse. Now, this is going to be a lot more don'ts than do's. And I'm going to do it from like the buyer's perspective, and then I'm going to do another video of like the seller's perspective, but I'm sure there's going to be a little bit of like a mixture in between. Okay, so a couple days ago, a lady named Kate asked me, she kind of just asked for advice. She's like, hey, what should I be doing when I'm looking for a horse? And so I'm going to be all over the map because I'm just going to be picking parts here and there from kind of like every kind of perspective. So couple like top things in your wants. Do not buy a horse based on color. If in your want ad you're like, must be this, or this, just throw it out, stay leasing. You should never buy a horse for its looks when it comes to just the eye appeal appearance. Obviously, conformation does matter in a lot of cases if you're looking for a performance horse. If you're like, it has to be this, or this, it's like, that's just like saying my best friend has to be a blonde. It may be a preference, but it's not going to be the bestest friend if that's all you're really basing your thing upon. So when looking for a horse, some really big things, if the seller has to be open to a PPE, pre-purchase exam, it's a really big plus if they will release to you permission to call the vet to see all of that horse's previous records. That's a big thing, which a lot of people won't do, and that's a big red flag. If you go to look at the horse and the horse is caught, the horse is saddled, the horse looks super tired, sweaty, leave. They've just wasted your entire day. Leave. Never, ever, ever buy a horse that's caught, saddled, looks sweaty, or looks completely chill, unless you're looking at an old boy, when they're, the little sweet ones. If the owner is talking off your ear so that you're paying more attention to what they're saying versus what you're looking at, you've read the ad. You should already know all of the things they're going to say. When I'm showing a horse, I try to shut up. Let them, if you've got questions, that's when they should be talking, is when they're answering them. No other time. Do not don't buy a horse, but be cautious if they won't ride, if the horse is supposed to be broke and they won't ride it first or for you. I get it, people are a little scared and they bought a horse that's too much horse for them and they're completely open about that. That's totally fine. That's a completely different story. But if they legit say this is a kid broke horse or a beginner safe horse or an intermediate safe horse and they won't ride it, red flag. When you do go out to get the horse, look at the horses around. See if there's salt. See if there's minerals. Look at the condition of the other horses. Look at their feet, etc. Like, if you go to a place where someone's selling their horse, are they just selling it because they're just flipping horses for money, or do they legit give a shit where their horse is going? I personally will never, ever, ever sell a horse to the very first person that comes with a trailer. If you're that serious, you can come back. I don't care if you've driven from 3-4 hours away. Also, if you're buying a horse from super far away, it's okay. If you absolutely have to, it's okay to have someone else look at it for you, but go a couple times. So what if you miss out on the sale? If the seller decides to sell it to the first person with money in hand, what does that really show? That they care about the horse? Yes, maybe it could have been a better home than you, but what does that say about the horse's well-being at the place they're currently at? Now, obviously, there's tons of other different circumstances, but these are kind of the things you have to keep in mind. I'm not saying do something. I'm not saying don't do something. Keep it in your mind of what could be actually going on in the situation and how black and white they've actually been with you in regards to why this horse needs to be moved. Look for if you can't afford to do a PPE, or if it's just a priced horse that you don't really feel like you need to, check teeth. That's a big one that a lot of people don't look at. Ask about records. Ask about who did their feet last, who did their teeth last. They may say, oh, well, it's all up to date on everything, but when you're actually in person, you say, when was this done? They'll be like, oh, like 2 years ago. That's not up to date. Because some people, that is. Some people deworm 4 times a year. Some people do it once a year. It's really important when to ask. This is going to be a long video. Make sure that the horse you're looking at comes into the barn or comes into the arena or comes into wherever they're going by themselves. You need to see that horse's true colors, and it's okay to see a horse freak out by themselves. They're a herd animal. That's okay. But you want to see how this horse is by itself, with just you or with just that owner. Check for head shyness. Like, go around their eyes like this. Lightly tap on the lead rope while it's tied up. Pick up their tail. If they're super relaxed or super tense, pick up all of those feet, all of them. Run your hands down from the knee to the coronet band. Check for bumps. Check for everything. Horses are going to have splits. It's just a normal thing. But this is also a chance for you to check for heat, check for swelling, check for like little bulges. Like, test this horse as if it was yours. When you're also looking, like, yeah, you can bring your saddle and stuff to make sure to see if it's going to be a potential fit. But also, if this person is just throwing on whatever saddle, check if it fits. Check the condition and stuff like that. If you've got a horse, if the horse is cinchy, ask about what goes in their mouth, or how they like to be ridden, or when they've ever had issues. Like, there's so many things that you need to think of on the spot while you're there that you do not want to miss when that horse is in the trailer on the way home with you. What else? If you're looking at a mare, see if she's a maiden. If it's a gelding, kind of like when he was gelded, if he's ever been bred when he was younger. And if, big thing, if you are promised papers, horse papers, registration papers, do not leave that property without them. Do not, ever. You don't ever want to be promised papers and then have to bug them over and over and over again after they've gotten their money. Oh, sorry, I guess I've just misplaced them. Oh, I guess they're somewhere in a box. So just be cognizant of that and don't trust anybody, even if it's a friend. I will use somebody I know as an example. I purchased a horse and I didn't grab the papers. I did get them eventually, but there was that awkwardness of having to ask over and over. Oh, I sent it. Oh, I mailed it. You pick up the mail, it's not in there. Like, you're like, okay, where's my papers? So, and if your horse is papered, papers do mean something. If they're not, it doesn't. Never leave without a bill of sale. If you're putting a deposit on a horse, do not use cash. Don't use cash. Leave a paper trail. Do an e-transfer that says in the memo, deposit for such and such horse, this much out of this remaining to be paid upon pickup. Whatever. And never trust anybody. Ever, ever, ever. Never trust any horse person. I mean, like, and I have to say that about myself too, because I want everyone to be careful, right? You don't ever want to learn the hard way. Don't ever trust anybody when they say they're going to do something after the fact, after you've been paid. If the sale isn't complete, the money isn't coming. Period. So, what else? I haven't ever regretted buying or selling. So I've never really had to go through these things. I think we're good. I think this is the end of the buyer video. Yeah, hope you enjoyed.